I gotta be all the way honest with you guys. The moment that you start to think for yourself, to genuinely think for you, to do your own research, to deviate from the narrative that you have been raised upon or that's around you at this very moment in time, when you finally start to take action upon things that genuinely serve your highest and best good, as opposed to those things that are destructive, you are going to be rejected. It's as simple as that. There is going to be backlash. You are going to face, it depends on your life, obviously, and who you're surrounded with, but you're going to face some level of resistance, some level of rejection. There are going to be some who want to separate, some who want to argue and fight, those who want to perpetuate the very same narrative that you were once in. They want to run back the script as opposed to accepting that you have now changed the script in your life. And there has been no more powerful kind of shift at a almost universal level than after the 2024 elections. The reason I don't stop talking about it or haven't stopped talking about it since is because it's had such a profound impact on society. Like there's nothing that I've ever experienced in my life that has been like the aftermath of the 2024 elections. And I've been on my TikTok posting content that's been going viral. I have a video from yesterday that now has over 3,500 comments under it, right? Shout out to everybody who commented. Unfortunately, I can't get to everybody. It's too many, but thank you. Thank you for the responses. 3,500. Now, the message was basically just an acknowledgement of the black women who were brave enough to vote for Donald Trump because they were the smallest demographic to actually vote for Trump this time around. Every other demographic swung to the other side. You know, almost the entire country is now turned red because people are resisting this woke ideology. But the small demographic of black women who made the decision to deviate from the known narrative, from all they have ever been taught in some cases, from, you know, what they have been pushed and forced into, even if they didn't believe in what that ideology stood for, in the value systems that the left had, they still felt that there was a loyalty they had to give to this party. And so for the first time in history, we are seeing this shift happening in every demographic. And, you know, again, you have this small number. And in those 3,500 comments, probably 80% are black women just saying thank you, etc., and sharing their own stories. And it's been incredible to see how much resistance and backlash we are getting for simply making a decision on our own, not referring to the white savior, not referring to grandma, auntie, or uncle, or somebody in our family unit, but instead doing our own independent research, making decisions not based upon emotion, but instead off of our own understanding that we've come to, not on the machine, not off of the left-wing propagandist machine that churns out misinformation, not from the disempowering narrative that we have been taught that, you know, it's racism and sexism and that we cannot do for self and that we are victims in this society. Instead of buying into that, which is so much easier, I promise you, it is so much easier to buy into what everybody else is already buying into. And somebody had the nerve to tell me on a video before the election even hit, they're like, oh, left wing, right wing content. Oh, you're just a grifter. Like, you know, it's easy to make money talking to right wing. I'm like, dude, we literally, anybody who was not on the left, who was even a centrist, was now being called a Republican or a conservative. And you were getting shut down. You were getting silenced. Like 2016, 2017, 18, 20, 21, 22. There were times when if you had a right-leaning or centrist platform, you were going to be silenced in some measure, whether it was the shadow banning that was taking place, whether it was complete eradication of your platform or the demonetization of your content. Meanwhile, the other side was able to go gung-ho, buck wild, do anything that they wanted. They were out in them streets literally burning down cities, and it was, you know, seen as peaceful protest. And for the first time, we're finally standing up for what we believe in. We're speaking truth to power. We're standing on our values. But there is no, when you make this shift, there is no guarantee that the people that you thought were for you are truly going to be for you. It's simple as that. I have seen mothers deviate from their daughters, daughters deviating from their mothers. I've seen it all, or I've heard it all at this point. I had another post before that, got up to like 800 something, 900,000 views on it. And so obviously there's a multitude of comments. And the thing that got my attention is, hundreds of these people's stories was about who left, and in what measure. People who were friends since kindergarten, people, losing their family members, 3, 4, 6 family members at a time. They're getting uninvited for Thanksgiving dinner. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It's heartbreaking, but unfortunately, this is where we are. And in truth, it is a blessing in disguise. You may not see it directly. It may sound confusing coming from, the outside, but once you're in it, you start to realize, oh, these people weren't for me. These people were drains on my life force. These individuals stood for something that I don't stand for. And if that means separation, then that means separation. It is what it is. And we have to come to accept that at some point, to say that if somebody holds values that are apart from my own and they can't meet me in the middle, and they want to eradicate me from their life because of my belief systems, let them go. They're doing you a favor. I would actually, if I was consulting one-on-one with many of these individuals and they were being harassed and attacked in such ways by people who are quote unquote close to them, I would tell them to create distance. I would tell them to create boundaries. I would tell them that this is toxicity and this is serving nobody. That these heinous sort of attacks, and they have been heinous. People have had their lives threatened, their children's life threatened. It's been assaults on people and their children. Like, it's been the most incredibly insane, mentally disturbed outrage I have ever experienced out of anything. More than the BLM stuff, more than, the 1% protesting against the 1% and all this type of nonsense. It has been the most insane backlash based upon individuals, the mass of individuals in this country. Not just the electoral vote, but the popular vote. The people spoke in louder numbers than shown in history to say, we're so sick and tired of the lies. We're so sick and tired of the facade. We're so sick and tired of the mass media who is pushing a specific narrative. More than 80% of them are echoing the very same sentiments. They're owned by the very same companies and are spewing the very same rhetoric. And now we're seeing in real time, they're losing their customer base. They're losing business. 50% of ratings are down in a lot of these companies, from MSDNC to CNN and the rest of the bunch. There's a reason for that. People are tired of the lies and they're going to deviate from it. But at a personal level, it's not going to be, rainbows and sunshine in the beginning. There's going to have to be a separation between you and these individuals. There's going to have to be a point where you accept that these individuals may not be in your life for a reason, but instead a season. Or the reason was the season. They're not going to be in your lifetime for the long run. And that's okay. That's completely okay. Let them go. Let them be. Let them live their lives as they choose. If they do not want to be on the righteous path, if they do not want to be on the right thinking path, when I say that word righteous, that's what its natural translation or its original translation is, of right thought, of right thinking. Somebody who is actually has integrity, somebody who has a sense of dignity, a sense of self-worth, cares about the people around them, cares about their family, doesn't want their children to be mutilated, is not looking to have boys be in girls' bathroom, vice versa. Like somebody with just common sense, somebody who wants the protection of their nation in order to protect their families. If you're that type of person and you have individuals who are fighting against that and resisting it and they separate themselves from you, that's a blessing. And if they're showing you that they want nothing to do from you, to do with you, that's the best thing that could happen for you. I promise you. I used to give a message of let them go, and unfortunately, it was falling on the wrong ears. It was falling on a lot of dysfunctional, toxic people's ears who are just projecting on everybody else. But now we have real situations where it's like these individuals are literally, they're wanting to poison, individuals who don't believe in what they believe in. Are you serious? The mental illness is rampant out here. When I say that, I don't mean to be like, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not trying to be funny. I mean it in the most literal way. It is mental illness, and it is rampant in these streets. And you got to let these people go. You can't save them. Don't save them. They don't want to be saved. Some of them can't be saved. And the ones who can have to save themselves. I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my
my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a